Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today's Friday, February 10th, 2023. Today, NBA, NHL, college basketball, my Super Bowl pick, soccer, golf, news and notes, and best bet. All right, NBA will kick off the show today. We'll talk a little bit about the trade deadline and news and notes. If you missed my live show yesterday, then go check it out. It's in podcast forum. All right, last night's results. Magic over the Nuggets, 115-104. That's a stunning loss. Hawks over the Suns, 116-107. Nets over the Bulls, 116-105. And the Bucks over the Lakers, 115-106 without LeBron. 11 games tonight, 7 o'clock. You have the Spurs and the Pistons. Projections, Detroit, 11.5, total 228, and a 20th. I think that's the only time for the rest of the season you'll see Detroit as a double-digit projected favorite. For the rest of the year. Pistons are only given 4, totals 236. But the question is, do I go with the under or do I go with Detroit? The pick's going to be the under. Suns Pacers, my line is the Suns by 2.25, total 227 3/4, and it's Pacers 2.5, total 230.5. I'm taking the Suns getting the points and plus 120. Knicks Sixers, my line Sixers 9.5, total 225 and 17/20, and it's 5.5 and 223. I love the Sixers against the Knicks. I love that one. Hornets Celtics on ESPN. This game should not be on ESPN. ESPN should be Knicks Sixers personally. I know they had it the other day, but it's a better game, much better game. I project the Celtics by 20 3/4, total 229 and 13/20, and it's 10 and 227. Even without Jaylen Brown, I'm going to lay it with Boston. 7:30 Jazz Raptors. My line is the Raptors 8 3/4, total 229 and 9/10. And we got 7 and 230.5. Slight Toronto. Rockets Heat. My line's Heat by 20, total 220 and 4/5, or 222 and 4/5. That's an 8 o'clock game. My line is 12 and 222. I'm gonna lay the 12 with the Heat. Wolves Grizz. My line is Grizz 7 3/4, total 229 and 4/5, and it's 7 and 235. Under. Cavs Pelicans on ESPN at 10 o'clock. That's a late ESPN game. I think Mavericks Kings should be on ESPN personally. Or Bucks Clippers, but I feel like I've had enough of the Clippers. Cavs Pelicans, I mean, it's good, but it would have been better with Zion. So I think that Mavs Kings should have been ESPN because of Kyrie, and give the Kings some respect. Projection Cavaliers by 4.25, total 223.5. And it's 2 and 223.5. I'm going to lay 2 with the Cavs. Thunder Blazers. My line is the Blazers 3.5, total 231 and 13/20, and it's 3 and 241.5 under. Mavs Kings. My line is Kings by 1, total 230 and 3/10, and it's 2.5 and 233.5. Give me the under. And last but not least, Bucks Clippers at 10:30. My line is the Clippers as a 7.5 point on home underdog without Kawhi, total 224 and a 20th, and it's Clips 2.5, total 227. Why are the Clippers favored? They should not be favored. Give me the Bucks plus 2.5 and plus 116. If Giannis is out, different story, but Kawhi's out too. All right, the weekend, big window on Saturday, 6 o'clock NBA TV, Sixers at the Nets. 7 o'clock Nuggets, Hornets, Heat, Magic, Pacers, Wizards, 7:30 Spurs, Hawks, Jazz, Knicks, 8 o'clock Bulls, Cavaliers, 8:30 ABC, Lakers, Warriors, Saturday primetime. LeBron against the Warriors and Draymond, no Curry, which sucks. That's going to be Breen, Jackson, and Van Gundy. And 10 o'clock, again, the Mavericks and the Kings. And then Sunday, 2 o'clock on ABC, you have the Grizzlies and the Celtics, and 3 o'clock, you have the Pistons and the Raptors. All right, now move on to the NHL. We'll go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to tonight and the weekend. Red Wings over the Flames 2-1. Panthers over the Sharks 4-1. Devils over the Kraken 3-1. Flyers over the Oilers 2-1. A shootout. Lightning over the Avs 5-0 in the Stanley Cup final rematch. Canucks over the Islanders 6-5. Terrible loss for the Islanders. And the Golden Knights over the Wild 5-1. 7 o'clock, you have the Maple Leafs and the Blue Jackets. Lopsided match for sure. Toronto minus 255, Columbus plus 205, over under 6.5, overs minus 115, unders minus 105. Toronto minus 1.5 is minus 1, Columbus plus 1.5 is plus 112. I'm going to go with the Blue Jackets on the puck line, plus 1.5 at minus 112. NHL Network, good game at the Garden. Kraken Rangers. Rangers minus 192. Woo! Kraken plus 158, over under 6, minus 10 each way. Kraken plus 1.5 is minus 158. Rangers minus 1.5 is plus 128. Is this line because of the trade? I don't know if Vladdy's going to make his debut tonight. We'll talk about the trade when we get to news and notes. But I am surprised that this is a high line. If the Kraken don't come through here, I'm probably going to stop picking the Kraken as an underdog. I know I've been doing it a lot. I'm going to do it again here. Maybe the Rangers are a little excited after that trade. So give me the Kraken plus 158 at the Garden to upset the Rangers. Coyotes, Blackhawks. Coyotes minus 114, Blackhawks minus 105, over under 6, overs minus 106, unders minus 114. Coyotes minus 1.5 is plus 210, Blackhawks plus 1.5 is minus 665. I'm going to go with the Blackhawks at home as a dog, minus 105. And then 10 o'clock, Penguins, Ducks. Pens minus 265, Ducks plus 215, over under 6.5, overs minus 104, unders minus 118. Pens minus 1.5 is minus 104, Ducks plus 1.5 is minus 118. I have the same idea here. Pens first game on the West Coast. Give me the Ducks plus 1.5 at minus 118. I have the same idea as the Leafs. Just somewhat fade the heavily favored team on the puck line at a good number. Saturday, 12 o'clock, Canucks, Red Wings. 12:30, Flames, Sabres. Isles, Habs. Oilers, Senators. Preds, Flyers. 1 o'clock, ABC, Lightning, Stars. So the final rematch from the bubble. So that's pretty neat. And then also on ABC, the Capitals and the Bruins. So doubleheader on ABC and then basketball at night. So big day for ABC. 6 o'clock, Avs, Panthers. 7 o'clock, NHL Network, Rangers, Hurricanes. Blue Jackets, Leafs. Devils, Wild at 8. Coyotes, Blues. Jets, Blackhawks at 10 from Winnipeg. And then 10:30, Penguins, Kings. And then on Super Bowl Sunday, we have 4 games. 12:30, Oilers, Canadians. 1 o'clock, Kraken, Flyers. Sharks, Caps on the NHL Network. And then 3 o'clock, you have the Ducks and the Golden Knights. All right, now we'll move on to college basketball. We'll go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to Friday. And the notables on Saturday and then Sunday. There was a lot of games yesterday. St. Fran, Brooklyn beats Wagner 64-62 in overtime. St. Fran, PA beats Sacramento 78-76 in overtime. Number 1, Purdue beats Iowa 87-73. FAU beats La Tech 66-62. FAU beats Rice 90-81. Gardner-Webb beats Radford 61-48. Merrimack beats Stony Hill 56-43. Fairleigh Dickinson beats Long Island 80-79. Georgia Southern beats James Madison 76-73. Old Dominion beats Georgia State 63-60. Marshall beats Coastal Carolina 92-74. Casey beats Western Illinois 76-64. Liberty beats Bellarmine 70-50. Stetson beats Jacksonville 76-7. Eastern Kentucky beats Queens 84-80. Gulf Coast beats North Florida 68-66. Texas Arlington beats Texas Rio Grande 64-58. App State beats Yale Monroe 52-45. Little Rock beats Morehead State 72-68. Western Kentucky beats Middle Tennessee 93-89. North Texas beats UAB 82-79 in double overtime. Nichols beats New Orleans 84-59. Northwestern beats Ohio State 69-63. So best bet wins. Texas State beats Arkansas State 66-62. Oral Roberts beats St. Thomas, Minnesota 95-88. North Dakota State beats Omaha 84-58. North Dakota beats Denver 86-63. SIU Edwardsville beats Lindenwood 63-58. Oakland beats Green Bay 59-47. Milwaukee beats Detroit Mercy 94-89. Northern Colorado beats Portland State 88-79. Northern Arizona beats Sac State 77-55. A&M Corpus Christi beats Houston Christian 91-68. McNeese beats Southeast Louisiana 69-66. Lamar beats Incarnate Word 68-59. Southern Miss beats Louisiana 82-71. Eastern Illinois beats Tennessee Martin 77-75. Kennesaw State beats Jacksonville State 54-52. North Alabama beats Austin Peay 70-57. Number 7 UCLA beats Oregon State 62-47. Number 16 Gonzaga beats San Francisco 99-81. Charlotte beats UTEP 62-53. Northwestern State beats A&M Commerce 88-82. Southern Utah beats Tarleton 72-62. Portland beats Pacific 81-73. Troy beats South Alabama 61-57. Tennessee State beats Southeast Missouri State 85-65. Tennessee Tech beats Southern Indiana 84-69. Riverside beats Davis 72-65. Weber State beats Montana State 73-63. Montana beats Idaho State 69-61. Lipscomb beats Central Arkansas 93-81. Loyola Marymount upsets number 15 St. Mary's 78-74 in overtime. Arizona State beats Stanford 69-65. Santa Clara beats San Diego 80-75. Pepperdine beats BYU 92-80. Bakersfield beats Northridge 73-58. Irvine beats Cal Poly 55-54. Number 4 Arizona beats Cal 85-62. Oregon beats USC 78-60. Santa Barbara beats Long Beach State 75-72. And Hawaii beats UC San Diego 69-62. All right, tonight's slate small. 6 o'clock ESPN2, Kent State Buffalo. Decent game. I project Kent State 5.3 total, 147 and 4 fifths. And it's 4.5 and 151.5. I'll take the under. Fox Sports 1, 7 o'clock. Number 13, Xavier at Butler. My line is Xavier by 7, total 147 and 7.5 and 145.5. I'll take a slight over. Marist, St. Peter's. My line is St. Peter's by 4.5, total 127 and 3/10. And it is 3.5 and 123.5 over. Fairfield Rider. My line's Rider 8.3, total 132.5. And it is 4.5 and 131.5. I'm going to lay the points with Rider. Quinnipiac and Niagara. My line is Quinnipiac 2.3, total 133 and 3 fifths. And we got 1.5 and 132.5. Slight over. Santa Mount St. Mary. My line is Siena 7.5, total 131 and a 10th. And it's 4.5 and 126.5. Over. Iona Canisius. My line is Iona 13.7, total 142 and 17/20. And we got 12.5 and 146.5. Under. VMI and East Tennessee State. My line is East Tennessee State 8.5, total 139 and 7/10. And it's 10.5 and 138.5. I'm going to take VMI getting the points. Youngstown State and Purdue Fort Wayne. My line's Purdue Fort Wayne by 1, total 148 and 13/20. And it's Youngstown 3.5, total 150.5. I'm going to take Purdue Fort Wayne plus a 3.5 and plus 150. Robert Morris, Cleveland State. My line is Cleveland State 6.7, total 136 and 9/10. And it is 6.5 and 134.5 over. Akron, Ohio at 7:30. My line is Akron 2.3, total 143 and 9/10. And we got 1.5 and 141.5 over. 8 o'clock, ESPN2. Game of the night? I would say yes. Big game in the A10, St. Louis Dayton. My line is Dayton by 3, total 138.5. And we got 4.5 and 136.5. I'm going to go with the over. 9 o'clock, Fox Sports 1, New Mexico Air Force. My line is New Mexico 8.2, total 142 and 7/10. I like this Mountain West on a Friday night thing. 6.5 and 141.5. I'm going to do a slight lean to New Mexico. Northern Kentucky, Wright State on ESPNU. My line is a pick and 142 and 9/20. And it's 2.5 and 138.5. I'll take the over. And last but not least, Fresno, Nevada, 11 o'clock, Fox Sports 1. My line is Nevada 11.3, total 133 and a quarter, and it's 8.5 and 130.5. So the pick is going to be a slight lean to Nevada. All right, notable Saturday games. It's 12 o'clock, ESPN2, West Virginia, number 5, Texas. That's a big one. The Big 12, West Virginia's on the bubble. Fox Sports 1, number 10, Marquette at Georgetown. Fox, number 20, Providence at St. John's. ACC Network X, NC State, BC. BC's been spoiling people pretty good lately. ESPNU, Pitt, Florida State. Pitt needs the games. Big Ten Network, Penn State, Maryland. Maryland needs the games. I think Penn State's out. ESPN, Kentucky, Georgia. Ooh, talk about a must for Kentucky. USA Network, 12:30, St. Bonaventure, Duquesne. Duquesne's a sneaky team in the A10. 1 o'clock CBS. Number 9, Kansas at Oklahoma. Is that a trap game? Maybe. SEC Network, South Carolina, Ole Miss. 2 o'clock, ESPN, number 3, Alabama at Auburn. That's a big one. Auburn needs a big win in some form. On Fox, you have number 21, UConn, at number 23, Creighton. That's a really good game. UConn's kind of riding the ship a little bit. Creighton is starting to peak a little bit. Fox Sports 1, number 24, Rutgers at Illinois. The Illinois need this game, I think. East Carolina, Tulane. This is a must for Tulane. ESPNU, Southern Illinois, Drake. ESPN2, Clemson, North Carolina. Obviously, Carolina needs the game. Vatech, Notre Dame. Vatech's under some pressure. Rhode Island, George Mason, UMass LaSalle. Marshall, Georgia State is pretty good because Marshall's good. 2:30 USA Network, Fordham, Davidson. Fordham's a sneaky team in the A10. 3:30, you have Vandy at Florida. Florida needs the games, and Vandy is coming off the upset. Buzzer beater. CBS Sports Network, Mercer, Chattanooga. 4 o'clock ESPN, Duke at number 8, Virginia. Duke needs the game. Virginia can use a resume win. ESPN2, number 14, Baylor at number 17, TCU. That is a interesting game. That game should be on regular ESPN, but the favoritism towards the ACC and the SEC continues over to Big 12. But that is a great game between Baylor and TCU. On Fox, you have UNLV at number 25, San Diego State. Really good Mountain West game. UNLV's fallen off since the start of the year. San Diego State's the best team in that league, I think. Big Ten Network, Wisconsin, Nebraska. Wisconsin needs the games. ESPNU, Loyola, Chicago, Richmond. Bad A10 game on ESPNU, which was ridiculous. ACC Network, Georgia Tech, Wake. Wake needs the game. SEC Network, Missouri at number 6, Tennessee. Missouri could use another nice upset. How does Tennessee respond after the loss against Vanderbilt? ESPN2, Oklahoma City, number 11, Iowa State. Iowa State bounced back after losing to West Virginia. CBS Sports Network, number 15, St. Mary's at Portland. Will St. Mary's bounce back? ESPN, number 18, Indiana at Michigan. Pac-12 Network, SC and Oregon State. SC needs the game. Decent game in the CUSA, Charlotte, North Texas. ESPNU, Mississippi State, Arkansas. That's a loser leaves town match potentially. 7 o'clock, number 12, Kansas State at Texas Tech. Kansas State's kind of fallen off a little bit. ACC Network, Louisville at number 19, Miami. Tulsa, UCF, South Florida, Cincinnati. You have Loyola Marymount at Santa Clara. Loyola Marymount, do they follow the other upset with the win? 8 o'clock on ESPN2, number 4, Arizona at Stanford. Pac-12 Network, Arizona State at Cal. Fox Sports 1, Seton Hall, Villanova. CBS Sports Network, Wyoming, Boise. SEC Network, A&M, LSU. A&M needs the game. ESPN at 10 o'clock, number 7, UCLA at Oregon. Is this going to be Dave Pasch and Bill Walton? Probably. Oregon's a couple of upsets away from being in the bubble. ESPN2, BYU at number 16, Gonzaga. Fox Sports 1, Colorado, Utah. CBS Sports Network, Utah State, San Jose State. Pepperdine, San Francisco, San Diego Pacific. 10:30, Wazoo's hosting Washington. ESPNU, Riverside, Irvine. And at midnight, Florida and Hawaii. Sunday, 12 o'clock, ESPN2, Temple, Memphis. 1 o'clock, Iona, Niagara, Quinnipiac, Canisius. Fox Sports 1, Iowa, Minnesota. CBS, Michigan State, Ohio State. IPI, Northern Kentucky. Robert Morris, Purdue, Fort Wayne. Youngstown State, Cleveland State, 2 o'clock Big Ten Network, number 1 Purdue, Northwestern. Missouri State, Evansville, Marist, Siena, St. Peters, Manhattan, Mount St. Mary, Fairfield, Wofford, Greensboro at 3, and then 4 o'clock on ESPN, you have SMU and Wichita State. Alrighty, we'll get more into college basketball in the next few weeks now that the Super Bowl is over and such, NBA trade deadline's over. But it was a little nice discussing some of these teams as they have some big games on Saturday. All right, now we will do what you all been waiting for. My pick for Super Bowl 57. You have the Kansas City Chiefs against the Philadelphia Eagles. Andy Reid against his old team. You have the Kelsey brothers playing against each other. You have the best quarterback in the league against the best team in the league. Both quarterbacks are in the MVP discussion all year. It's a great game. It's going to be a lot of fun. This is just going to be my pick for the game. I will be doing a show tomorrow afternoon at some point with the props. And I'll give out my favorite props of the Super Bowl. And as I do that show tomorrow, I'll be shopping around on FanDuel and DraftKings, so that's what's going to make that show a lot of fun. So, it looks like every player that was on the injury report will be playing with the exception of Mecole Hardman. My projection for this game will be the Eagles by a half. Total 48 and 17/20. I don't know why I almost just said 148. College basketball is still stuck in my head. So 48 and 17/20 is the total. My projected line is the Eagles by a half. FanDuel right now has this at Eagles 1.5, total 50.5. So I'm very close to the projections. The projections, are close to the numbers. So my pick that I'm going to give out is a slight lean to the under 50.5. But I want to wait to see if it goes to 51 to pull the trigger. In terms of who's going to win the game, my lessons from picking the Super Bowl over the years has been pick the best team, not the best player. And not the best coach sometimes, too. Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes have the advantages at their spots. But are we sure Andy Reid does? Nick Sirianni's done one hell of a job this year at the Eagles. And he has the better team. He has better lines. The receivers are better. The running game for the Eagles is better. Although the Chiefs have a decent running game too. I just think that the spot on the Eagles that could be a little weak is their secondary. But are the Chiefs receivers good enough to mask that? I know the 49ers, it's a what if because of Purdy. But the Giants had bad receivers. The Chiefs don't have good receivers like the Eagles do. But their receivers are better than what the Giants had. That's my fear at Kansas City's offense. And I say that outside of Kelsey. So, I'm going to pick the Eagles to win this game. I'm not going to give out the -1.5 because I think the Eagles can win this game by 1. I really do. The score that I'm going to give out. I'm going to say 26-23 Philadelphia. I think we'll see some missed extra points. I think maybe we see some missed field goals. So it's going to be like a little bit of an uglier score than you think. Instead of a pretty score like 27-24. I'm going to say it's 26-23 Philadelphia. Super Bowl MVP. Hurts and Mahomes are the co-favorites at +130. I know I'm going to do most of my props on the prop show tomorrow, but I'm just going to give this one out. I really like Devontae Smith at 31-1. I really do. I just think that he is on the verge of becoming a special wide receiver in this league. And him and A.J. Brown are just going to be this dynamic duo for years to come with the Eagles. So, I'm going to say 26-23 Eagles. My picks are slightly into the under. But it'll be over my projected total, if that makes sense, slightly. And Super Bowl MVP, I'm going to say, is Devontae Smith, 31-1. But it should be a great game. I'm excited, and I'm going to give out more props on tomorrow's show. All right, now I'll move on to soccer. We will recap the games from yesterday, and we have a busy soccer weekend ahead. We will start with Mexican Liga. Leon over Querétaro 3-0 and Monterrey over Atlas 2-0. Two games tonight, 8 o'clock at Puebla and Mazatlan. And usually on Fridays I give out the Friday bets for soccer, but not the weekend. So it's the same rule with the NBA, NHL, and college basketball as I have with soccer when it comes to betting on the podcast or giving out picks. Puebla minus 140, Mazatlan plus 380, plus 270 is the draw. I'm going to go with under 2.5 goals at minus 116. 10 o'clock, Tijuana and Athletic San Luis. Tijuana's minus 130, Atletico plus 330, draw plus 260. I'm going to go over 2.5 goals at minus 116. Saturday, 6 o'clock, America, Necaxa. 8 o'clock, Juarez and Santos, Tigres and UNAM, and 10 o'clock, Pachuca and Guadalajara. Sunday, 1 o'clock, Toluca and Cruz Azul. All right, now we'll do Serie A. 2:45 today with Milan and Torino. Milan's minus 130, Torino plus 380, draw plus 240. I'm going to go with over 2.5 goals at plus 118. Saturday, 9 o'clock, Empoli and Spezia. 12 o'clock, Lecce and AS Roma. And 2:45, Lazio and Atalanta. Sunday, 6:30, Udinese and Sassuolo. 9 o'clock, Bologna and Monza. 12 o'clock, Juventus and Fiorentina. And 2:45, Napoli and Cremonese. Spanish La Liga, 3 o'clock today, Cadiz and Girona. Girona plus 135, Cadiz plus 210, draw plus 210. I'm going to go with the draw at plus 210. I think that's pretty juicy. Saturday, 10:15, Almeria and Betis. 12:30, Sevilla and Mallorca. 3 o'clock, Valencia and Athletic. And Sunday, 8 o'clock a.m., Getafe, Rayo. 10:15, Celta Vigo and Atletico. 12:30, Valladolid and Osasuna. And 3 o'clock, Villarreal and Barcelona. Bundesliga today, 2:30. Schalke and Wolfsburg, German Bundesliga. Wolfsburg minus 110, Schalke plus 280, draw plus 660. I'm going to go with Wolfsburg at minus 110, but I don't feel good about it. Saturday, 9:30, Bayern Bochum, Mainz Augsburg. 9:30 also, Freiburg and Stuttgart. Hoffenheim and Leverkusen. Bremen and Dortmund. And at 12:30, RP Leipzig and Union Berlin. Sunday, 9:30, Hertha and Gladbach. And 11:30, Cologne and Frankfurt. All right, French League 1. Today, 3 o'clock, you have Nice and 8C Ajaccio. Nice minus 190. AC plus 550. Draw plus 280. I'm going to go over 2.5 goals at plus 134. Saturday, 11 o'clock, Monaco and PSG, and 3 o'clock, Clermont-Foot and Marseille. Sunday, 7 o'clock, Toulouse and Rennes, 9 o'clock, Angers and Auxerre, Lille, Strasbourg, Montpellier, Brest, Reims, Troyes, 11 o'clock, Nantes and Lorient, and 2:45, Lyon and Lens. The Dutch, today, 2 o'clock, you have AZ Alkmaar and Excelsior. AZ minus 470, Excelsior 9-1, draw plus 490. I'm going to say over 3.5 goals at minus 104. Saturday, 12:45, NEC and Carnbor, PSV and FC Groningen, and 3 o'clock, Emmen and Fortuna. Sunday, 6:15, Sparta and the Go-Ahead Eagles, 8:30, Heerenveen and Feyenoord, Vitesse and FC Utrecht, 10:45, Ajax and RKC, and FC Twente and FC Volendam. And then the English League Championship, 3 o'clock, you have Birmingham and West Brom. West Brom's even money, Birmingham's plus 280, draw plus 230. West Brom's just better. I'm going to take them on the road at even money. Saturday, big day, 10 o'clock, Blackpool and Rotherham, Bristol City, Norwich City, Burnley, Preston, Cardiff Borough, Coventry, Luton, QPR, Millwall, Sheffield United and Swansea, Stoke and Hull, Sunderland, Reading, Watford, Blackburn, and Wigan and Huddersfield. English Premier League, Saturday, 7:30, West Ham, Chelsea, Arsenal, Brentford, Crystal Palace, Brighton, Fulham, Nottingham Forest, Leicester, Tottenham, Southampton, Wolves, and 12:30, Bournemouth and Newcastle. Sunday, 9 o'clock, Leeds and Man United, and 11:30, Man City and Aston Villa. So, that's really it for soccer. Now move on to golf. I'm going to go over the current leaderboard for the Phoenix Open. Your leader right now, it's a tie. 5 under, Jason Day, Scott Stallings, Adam Hadwin, and Nate Taylor. 5th with 4 under, Xander Schauffele. Tied for 6th with 3 under, Charlie Hoffman, Joaquin Herman, Danny Lee, Wyndham Clark. Tied for 10th with 2 under, Sam Ryder, Taylor Moore, John Rahm, Max Homa, Keegan Bradley, Stuart Singh, Scotty Scheffler, Webb Simpson, Brendan Steele. Tied for 19th with 1 under, Aaron Wright, Troy Merritt, Sanjay, Tony Finau, Sam Burns, Matt Fitzpatrick, Tyler Hatton, Corey Connors, James Hahn, Adam Schenk, Matt Kuchar, Victor Hovland, Zach Johnson, Ricky Fowler, Trey Mullinax, Chris Kirk, Ryan Palmer, Jason Duffner, Kelly Kraft. Tied for 38th at even, Jonathan Vegas, Adam Long, Keith Mitchell, Jordan Spieth, Robert Straub, Lucas Herbert, Richie Rutsky, Lucas Glover, Kevin Tway, Brian Harmon, Ryan Moore, Max McGreevy, Patton Kazir, Nate Lashley, Seamus Power, Siwood Kim, Taylor Hogue, Barrett Horschel, Hayden Buckley, Chasen Hadley, Justin Loward, and Dalton Ward. All right, notables now. Tied for 60th at 1 over, Brendan Woot, Tommy Fleetwood, Evan Van Rooyen, Andrew Landry, Tyler Duncan, Gary Woodland, Harry Inglis, Luca Hodges, Kramer Heacock, Steve Thiglia, Justin Thomas, Austin Smotherman. Tied for 73rd with 2 over, Taylor Pendrith, Scott Piercy, or Sam Piercy, Colin Morikawa, Garrett Higo, Rory McIlroy, Patrick Cantley, Ken Cooley, Peter Malnati, Cam Young, Callum Tarrant, Matt Wallace, Grayson Sieg, Patrick Rogers, Russell Knox, Aaron Weiss, Joel Dahman, J.B. Holmes, Luke Liz, Dylan Fratelli, Doug Gibb. Tied for 95th with 3 over, Kevin Stroman, Hideki Matsuyama, Davis Thompson, Kevin Kisner, Chester V, Mackenzie Hughes, Mark Hubbard, B.U. Hostler, Adam Putnam, Francesco Molinari, Adam Svensson, Alex Redden, M.A. Hopper, Doc Redmond, and Matthias Schwab. Tied for 1/10 with 4 over, Nate Watney, Ty Montgomery, Shane Lowry, Brendan Todd, Martin Laird, Kirk Tatayama, Dylan McCarthy, Davis Lipsky, JT Potson, Brendan Gay, and Michael Thompson. Tied for 121st with 5 over, Stefan Yeager, Emiliano Grillo, Christian Siedenhout, Robert Brem, Maverick McNeely, Ryan Henley, J.J. Spawns, and tied for 128th with 6 over. Tied for 130th with 7 over, Rory Sabatini, Camp Champ, Chad Ramey. 133rd with 8 over for Matthew Neesmith, and 134th with 9 over is Jimmy Walker. Alrighty, now move on to the news and notes for today. Obviously the trade deadline was yesterday. There's a lot of things that happened after 3 o'clock. Chris Haynes says that the buyout market will be awesome, which is good. There's going to be a lot of guys that are going to get bought out. Serge Ibaka, Dwayne Dedmon, Will Barton's likely going to get bought out. Kevin Love's not one. Reggie Jackson could be one. Obviously, Russell Westbrook's going to be one. And it was reported that the Russell Westbrook LA situation grew toxic, and the coaching staff felt it was necessary to part ways. Giannis missed the trade buzz as he wasn't keeping up with the trade deadline like the rest of the NBA world. Chris Paul's hyped after the Kevin Durant trade. Chris Paul says add him to the Washington Generals and they're going to be nice. Anthony Davis on the reaction to LeBron. He said he was pissed off we were losing on the viral non-reaction. Matisse Thybulle spray painted a message to thank the Philadelphia 76ers fans. LeBron didn't play last night. As we talked about, Steph Curry injury update will be reevaluated after the All-Star break. The NFL awards were last night. Obviously Patrick Mahomes won the MVP. You knew that was going to happen. Offensive Player of the Year went to Justin Jefferson of the Minnesota Vikings. Defensive Player of the Year went to Nick Bosa of the 49ers. A lot of people thought that it was going to be Micah Parsons of Dallas. Offensive Rookie and Defensive Rookies of the Year, both for New York Jets, Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner, respectively. The Comeback Player of the Year was Geno Smith. And the Coach of the Year was Brian Daboll of the New York Giants. I think all the awards were probably the right choices. Like I said, there's some people think it should have been Micah Parsons, but I think Parsons' play slipped a little bit at the end of the year, and Dallas didn't win its division. And their defense slipped at the end of the year, like I mentioned. And then Jefferson was obviously the choice for Offensive Player of the Year. Mahomes' MVP was the right pick. Daboll deserved Coach of the Year running away. He got that team to overachieve, and nobody thought that they were a playoff team before the year, so he probably should have won that like by default in a good way. Also, the Jet guys, I think, were deserving of their awards. Although Offensive Rookie of the Year would have been another Jet had he not gotten hurt, and that was Breece Hall. So that's like a fun little subplot there. That it probably still would have been 2 Jets anyway, but not Garrett Wilson. Probably would have been Breece Hall. And then Geno Smith, Comeback Player of the Year, was the right choice because He brought Seattle to the postseason in a year nobody expected it after the trade of Russell Wilson. So that was the argument for Pete Carroll for Coach of the Year, if there was one. But Seattle has more offensive talent than New York does. And the other reason why I think Pete Carroll didn't win Coach of the Year was because I think people just have a grudge against him because of Russell Wilson for some reason. Like I said, I think all the right people won the awards. The Hall of Fame class was announced at the award ceremony last night. So we got Rondé Barber, Darrelle Revis, Joe Thomas, Zach Thomas, DeMarcus Ware, Don Coryell, Chuck Halley, Joe Kaleko, and Ken Riley. So that's a great Hall of Fame class. And then first-time eligibles for next year, Andrew Luck, Julius Peppers, Antonio Gates, Brandon Marshall. So that's a loaded potential 24 Hall of Fame class. And then the 25 class could be Eli Manning. So that's a lot of big names coming up here as we approach these next few years of the NFL Hall of Fame. Damar Hamlin spoke at the NFL Honors with the UC Medical Center, the Bills and Bengals medical staff by his side, which was awesome. And ESPN's Susie Klober voted the Bills trainer as a fifth-place MVP vote for saving Damar Hamlin's life, which was very touching. Von Miller says that he'll be ready to play in 2023. Well, he better be. They missed him this year. A big hockey trade happened on the NBA trade deadline day. I alluded to it on the live show I did yesterday. The Rangers acquire Vladimir Tarasenko from the St. Louis Blues. And going in the trade with him is Nico Mikola. Blues get back the Rangers' first-round pick, the Rangers' fourth-round pick, Sammy Blaze, and defense prospect Hunter Skinner. What a deal for the Rangers. I thought the Rangers had to make a trade for a established player of that ilk if they wanted to make that jump. And I was okay with them waiting until the trade deadline. And they got it done. They gave Vlad Tarasenko. And now, to me, they got to go to the Stanley Cup final, or else it's a disappointment if they don't. I mean, you could say that about a lot of teams in the East. You could say that about Carolina, depending on what they do at the deadline. A lot of people think they're going to get Ryan O'Reilly. Obviously, Boston's finals are bust. The Lightning are finals are bust. So there's a lot of finals or bust teams in the Eastern Conference. And now the Rangers, with this trade, even if they didn't make this trade, in theory, they would be one of them because you always want to take the next step and not take a step back or stay where you were a year ago. So, great trade for the Rangers. I don't know if they'll win the Metro Division, and they don't have to win the Metro Division. They just got to make the Stanley Cup final. That's more important than winning a freaking division. They made the conference finals last year and finished second in their division. Division placement is a little overrated when it comes to the postseason, depending on how your home ice is with the fans and everything. A team I don't know. I'm trying to think of a team, for example, that the opposition would be intimidated to go and to win a Game 7. Colorado, Tampa Bay, and maybe some of the, trying to think of a team, a middle tier team where you don't want to go to play an elimination game. Winnipeg, even though they're, who knows with them. There's a couple of those teams that you don't want to go in their home arena for an elimination game. And Carolina lost a Game 7 on home ice this past year. So, or last season, I should say. So we'll see what happens. Timo Meyer's on the trade market. The Rangers were linked to him, but that was before Tarasenko. I don't think they'll get another big fish. They have the assets to get another big fish, but they don't need another big fish. Save that for the summer or next year in case you lose somebody in free agency or if somebody gets injured. Devils, Golden Knights, and Hurricanes are all in play for him too. I think the Devils should go out and get him. I think the Devils are a piece away from potentially making a run to the conference finals. I don't see them in the Stanley Cup final because they're a young team, but and I don't trust Vanacek entirely in a playoff series, but I think they're a guy away from being a real threat. Flames defenseman Rasmus Anderson was struck by a vehicle while scootering to dinner and is listed as dead today. That's unfortunate. Hopefully he gets well soon. Texas and Oklahoma to the SEC in 2024 as they owe a combined $100 million in exit fees to leave the Big 12 a year earlier than planned. A couple of baseball contract extensions are handed out on trade deadline day too. Yu Darvish, Padres, 6 years, $108 million. That's a terrible extension. He's going to be in his 40s when that thing ends, and that's just awful. Listen, he's still good, but 6 years? Come on. It's one thing if it's a 3-year extension, but 6? Give me a freaking break. The Blue Jays extend Bo Bichette 3 years, $33.6 million to avoid arbitration. Good extension for Toronto. The Mets buy a Super Bowl ad. Of course, Steve Cohen buys an ad. He just wants to be the big guy with his chest pumping out like, yeah, I'm it. That's how I feel about Steve Cohen. I think he's cocky. To me, he's Steve Ballmer. That's what he is to me. Win before anything. It's cool you're doing a Super Bowl commercial, but you're not going to earn your... he has gotten a lot of respect already because he's already better than the Wilpons. He was better than the Wilpons from the second he walked in. But, win a freaking championship. At least make the NLCS before doing all these crazy... it's cool he's doing this, but, people treat him like he is all that. I feel the same way about Steve Ballmer with the Clippers. Team USA drops their WBC roster. It includes Mike Trout, Pete Alonso, and Nestor Cortez, among others. Let's see who else is going to play. And some of these teams got to be nervous in case the player gets injured. I feel like the Yankees have dealt with this a lot. Didi Gregorius in 2017. Mark Teixeira in 2013. Brian Cashman didn't let Luis Severino pitch for his country, which was the right thing to do because he's always freaking hurt. So good on Brian Cashman for doing that. Team USA roster. JT Realmuto, Will Smith, Kyle Higashioka, Pete Alonso, Paul Goldschmidt, Jeff McNeil, Nolan Arenado, Bobby Witt, Tim Anderson, Trey Turner, Mookie Betts, Cedric Mullins, Mike Trout, Kyle Tucker, Kyle Schwarber, Jason Adam, Daniel Barr, David Bednar, Devin Williams, Adam Ottavino, Kendall Graveman, Nick Martinez, Ryan Plessy, Brooks Raley, Clayton Kershaw, Adam Wainwright, Nestor Cortez, Brady Singer, Merrill Kelly, Lance Lynn, Miles Mikolas. That's a loaded roster. They better win. I think it's disappointing if they don't win. It's like the basketball in the Olympics. Like that, if this team loses, that's like LeBron James and Kevin Durant losing in the Olympics. Like, that's crazy. You have Mike Trout. You have all these great players. Paul Goldschmidt. JT Realmuto. Like, this team better freaking win. Mookie Betts. Clayton Kershaw. A lot of good relievers. So this team better go out and win, or else it's a failure. Mike Trout is absolutely right, I think. And then one more note. Colts rule out 3 candidates for its head coaching job. Bengals offensive coordinator Brian Callahan and Giants coordinators Mike Kafka and Wink Martindale. That's good news for the Giants, and that is good news for the Bengals. But guess what? It's bad news for the Colts, because that makes it more likely that Jeff Saturday is going to be their head coach. And you know what else? That's going to make them a very sexy pick to be the worst team in the league for the next several years. All right, last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. I didn't like a lot of the options for best bet today. I really did like that Northwestern pick yesterday. That worked out. So I'm going to lay a half unit because I really don't feel good about my options here. I'm just going to go against the team that just traded some guys away and then try to buy some guys out, and that's the Houston Rockets. I'm going to lay the 12 with the Heat. I don't like laying big numbers, but I'm going to do it here. Jimmy, Butler, and Bam will lead the way. Give me Miami minus the 12 at home against the Rockets for the best bet. All right, so that's it for the show today. I'll be back tomorrow for the Super Bowl props show. And I will pick all my props, and I will bet on the ones that I like the most. That's what I usually do. And I hope you guys have a great day, everyone. I'll see you guys tomorrow.